Good afternoon. It's beautiful out. I'm calling you in between meetings, and I have to go back to others. I've taken off my jacket because it's nice enough out to do this. The news is continues to be a moving target. I'd like to believe the vectors are as they're stated, but meaning the force and direction of where we're going is favorable. So, for example, the infrastructure bill. Eisenhower did it. Why can't we? Well, it was the 50s. It was after the war. He'd been the general. There are a lot of reasons why it worked in his case. And objectively, it should work in our case, given the pandemic, the fears, the things we've been through, the supply chain, the question of, so many things. But here we have it. Manchin had a meeting with Biden, the president, and apparently he still comes away saying he's not for the Medicare elements of the package. Another part, and this is all on the Senate side, of course, where we have to have 50 votes plus the vice president, because the Republicans don't believe in any of these things. If it passes, they'll take credit. If it doesn't, they'll blame us for us failing to have the votes when they didn't participate at all. But you may remember the other question about this package is how we're going to pay for it. Now, at one point, we talked about cryptocurrency, and nobody knows how that would have worked. And the Bitcoin boob tube idea is gone, and we have a new one. This one is the billionaire's bill. So if you have, and they call it in tax language, an unrealized tax gain, and you're a billionaire. So say you have 60 billion and everything appreciates, gains in strength, and you have 80 billion. Well, they're going to tax you on the difference, the 20 billion, even though you don't have it. You only have it in unrealized gain because you haven't sold it to anyone. You still own it. I don't think that's going to fly. It doesn't strike me as fair. It strikes me as difficult to prove. And it strikes me as a gimmick to say that's how we're going to raise the money, when I don't think it's realistic that you could. Biden would like to get this settled before he goes to Europe for the conferences on the environment. It's possible, but it's going to take a lot of midnight oil to get anything out of these guys and gals. And it's still the same, too, in the Democratic side. Sinema and Manchin, S&M. The undynamic duo. So what else is going on? The rest of it is about cops and robbers stuff. The weekend saw a release of information by the Washington Post that the Willard Hotel was the command center from sometime in December of last year through and past the January 6th insurrection. And who was involved? Well, Steve Bannon, Rudy Giuliani, this lawyer Eastman, stuff like that. And then we got another broadcast. The Rolling Stone got information at the other end of Pennsylvania Avenue. Members of Congress were working with the rioters and figuring out what to do so that they could throw out the vote, the electoral vote that Vice President Pence was going to conduct in some way or other, or charge the Bastille, a reference to a revolution that worked, I guess, for a while. The idea, of course, was to create enough trouble that they could delay it, overturn the results of the election in some way or other. And one of the congressmen, I think it was Gomar, he told the rioters that there would be a blanket pardon. And that hurts because it didn't happen, and I guess it could have. But, if you're relying on Trump ever to be your ally, forget it. It doesn't happen. It's not in his makeup. He is a first-class user, and he uses everybody all the time. And that's obvious in the fact that he was comfortable with basically insurrection, trying to take over the government to have them say he won an election that he lost beaten like a drum. So among the people that were consulted, of course, Green was in that group, and Mo and some of these people spoke at the rally that day, and They're trying to get the vote through. And if you're telling people you're going to give them a blanket pardon, you're saying that you expect what they're going to do is criminal. So the question that begs us here is, hey, Department of Justice, Garland, excuse me, sorry for waking you up, but at what point, when what evidence is made public, are you going to wake up and do something? You're our chief law enforcement officer, and I guess you're doing crossword puzzles, or considering what opinions you would have written on the Supreme Court, or walking your dog. Well, wake up and do your job. And if you can't do it, step down. And if you think you can't do it, appoint a prosecutor who can, because the nation is at risk, and you doing nothing makes you an aider and abetter of that fact. So I'm out here, beautiful weather, and I have more meetings on conference calls, so I have to look businesslike, but I'm enjoying this break, and tomorrow maybe we'll do better on the Hill and elsewhere. All the best. Bye-bye.